knowledge that you need for your different hobbies. And we're going to ask this table to stand up and just hold your sheet. We're not going to have you put them on the wall. Just hold your sheet up and explain what your hobby is and what your knowledge dimensions tell you.
Riding a bike.
Riding a bike. Did y'all hear?
So parts of the bike, factual, conceptual, pedal turns chain, turns wheels, and you get movement, hopefully. Procedure, body movement, actually placing the feet on the pedals, handling the handlebars or not, and balance.
You're really good. You don't need pushing it.
And thinking about it, know when to coast, pedal faster, slower, switch gears. We'll pick up on that.
Okay, good. Anybody have any questions about these knowledge domains? Do they fit? Yeah, they do. Good job. Very good. Okay, let's go to the next table. What did you guys pick?
We did canning salsa. We've got factual, the basic canning vocabulary and what ingredients to use. Conceptual, the knowledge of the proper ingredient ratios and the different attributes of individual ingredients and what they contribute to the final product. Procedural techniques like dicing, blanching, hot water bath, etc. Steps in the recipe. Metacognitive would be then evaluating the taste at the very end and deciding how you're going to alter the recipe for future batches.
Right, that's a very important part, is tasting and deciding. Very good. Okay, table number 3 down there.
Okay, so we chose traveling as our hobby. For the factual stuff, we did city, states, airlines, hotels, internet, and the miles that you might need to travel. Conceptual is itinerary, the culture, and the social economic status of your country. For procedural, we did language that you might need to know when you're traveling, the directions, and possibly using Google Maps while you're there. And then metacognitive, we did planning your trip, how the culture is affecting you, how you affect the people around you, and learning how to associate with them.
Very good. Always good to know donde está el baño when traveling into the Okay, next table.
We did quilting, and so our factual knowledge for the different types of fabric, we use the tools we need to use. Procedural knowledge, how to measure, how to cut, how to use a sewing machine, how to put it together. Conceptual is the color theory, patterns, the different designs you can do, and how you are putting it together, or what you need to put it together. And cognitive is why are you making it? Is it for a wedding? Is it for a baby? You know, what's the thought process behind why it's special? And then knowing what you can do and maybe what you need to ask for help with, or is it a team effort?
Yeah. I like the idea that for concept you put the color and the pattern and the theory of that, because that is a concept that changes every time. Who's the quilter? Are you all quilters? You're the quilter? Okay, good for you. All right, how about this table? Oh, over here? Okay, gardening.
Okay, for factual, we just put things like budgeting, the soil temperature, space, and growing time. Conceptual, size of your garden, the time to spend in the garden, choices of seeds, and help to maintain that. Procedural, tilling, fertilizing, watering, planting, weed control, harvesting, and storage, pest control. And metacognitive, seed selection, fertilizer, analyze your test results, harvesting and storage, and a plan for next year.
Yeah, at the end of the year you look back and say, okay, what did well, what didn't do well, and what am I going to do differently next year? Great, good job. How about our administrative table?
Okay, ours is binge watching TV. So, factual
There's
would
leadership.
be, like what devices am I going to do it on, what, my computer, my TV, whatever. Also the time which you can do it, which is anytime. Conceptual, what are the different genres of shows, understanding episode titles and numbers, understanding the relationship of the characters to each other, and maybe picking the ones you like, ones you don't like. Procedural, the processes, procedures to, to actually watch the shows, like how do I do that, how does that work? Metacognitive, your self-assessment, so like, do I want to go into the next episode? Or something else, or do I like the show, or should I pick one?
Since I've been sitting here for 3 hours already.
Another one is this how I want to watch the show, or would I rather just watch week to week and see how it goes? How does binge watching affect my life? Is it positive or negative?
Very good. Like honesty. Yeah, next day. So right to that.
All of them have been watching.
We wrote too much. Photography and factual, take off lens cap. It's not funny, it's happening. Also, camera and flash or strobe, point and shoot, composition, rule of thirds, lighting, digital or film camera, filters, lenses, shutter speed, aperture, focal length, editing, your viewers, your audience, you have to consider that, subject matter, portrait or action. Conceptual, how does fast action, that's when you stop the action, so it's stopped, it's not blurred, or blurred motion. How does shutter speed and aperture affect light and stopping action? How film speed relates to exposure, motion, the graininess, how the picture looks after it's developed, or in these days it's digital, but how lenses relate to subject matter. If you're going to do a portrait, you're not going to use a wide-angle lens or a telephoto lens, right? Unless you're shooting Tiger Woods, playing golf or whatever you want to call it. Unless you're taking a picture of, sorry, not shooting. How filters, hey, come on. How filters and actions, filters and the action that you're shooting related to each other. Procedural. Wait, you can either focus or compose first. It's interchangeable. Focus on what you're going to shoot, compose it, rule of thirds, check lighting, light meter, adjust aperture, shutter speed, depth of field, anticipate action. If you shoot sports, you have to anticipate it. You can't just randomly shoot like you would a portrait. Shooter, press shutter. That's the button. Repeat, always shoot more than one. And then metacognitive. First thing, you're going to edit the photos if you're doing the digital way, Photoshop, Instagram, whatever. You're going to evaluate finished photos, evaluate the composition of photo, and you're going to reflect on those things. Evaluate the lighting, reflect on the finished product if you need to go back and shoot more. Hopefully, if you shot more than one, you won't have to go back. And that is all.
Very good. Are you the photographer of the group?
No, really shield.
Very good. The one thing that popped up in this one that I want, that's a good example of something is for factual, she had to take the lens cap off because we know you have to do that. But sometimes things cross over from a factual thing to also a procedural thing. So when you're going through and you're thinking about the things you teach in your classroom, some of them are going to be both. Remember that some of them will be both. Okay? All right, how about you guys?
Take the new guy.
Oh, the new guy.
Okay, so we did baking. So for factual, we had no basic measurements, the difference between ingredients, and a difference in how to use various measurement tools. For conceptual, we did knowing the outcomes of using different types of baking appliances and cookware, how to modify ingredients, what to do if you didn't follow the directions, and recipe rehab for healthier recipes. For procedural, we did following the steps in a recipe and how to clean and store your baking supplies. And metacognitive was, does this product taste and look the way I thought, and what could we do differently if we didn't like it?
Very good. All right. Any questions about that? No, very good. Very clear cut. Okay, how about you guys?
She's showing pictures, she's gonna.
That's okay, we like pictures.
So we did attending concert performances. Factual is we enjoy the music and we love the atmosphere of going to a music concert. Conceptual would be routines and traditions. There's certain routines that you have to go through, and there's also, if you go with the different kinds of traditions to a concert. Procedural, getting to the venue, getting tickets, seating, dress code, because some things you're going to go to in different attires. And then number 5 is concert etiquette, such as learning to clap at the right times. And then metacognitive, we said if we like the venue or if we like music, would we go back and see the performer? Did we like the atmosphere? Did we like the show? And will I attend a similar concert?
Very good. Good one. I've never had that one before. Great. Okay, how about this table right here? Hold it. No, I'm not. Oh, you're last.
Okay, we did garage sailing.
Oh, good one.
We made it garage sale fanatic. So factual, you need to know the location. You need to have a budget. She says we need a budget. Transportation system. We have to be able to get our stuff home, get to the garage sales. Like she says, bring a pickup. Yeah, she's serious. Okay. And conceptual. What is the value of the item? Is it a better price than what I could buy it in the store? The if-then statement. Explain that.
Oh, if I have an electric motor for an ice cream maker, but I don't have the bucket, and then I go find
the bucket.
a bucket, I can make ice cream if I put those two together.
Okay.
Procedural, you need to search the ads and online post. Make a strategic plan of the garage sale route to maximize potential. Navigate
There you
map
go,
for
yeah.
citywide, because you might want to start in this side of town and then go this way if they have the better stuff. And then a basic cognitive is a rationale or for the purpose of your purchase. So if I'm going to buy this, where would I use it? Do I really need it? That sort of thing.
Very good. Very good one. I should have had that last weekend when I went to my neighbor's garage sale, because I wasn't doing the if-then. If I buy this, then where will I put it? Right. Okay, how about this one? Who's gonna read?
Okay, we did reading, factual. You need to know your genres, background knowledge, and phonics. Conceptual, relating text to self, world, and text. Visualizing the characters and setting, plot, problem, characters, face. Procedural is the order of pages read, how to use digital sources, how do I get a library card. Metacognitive, did you like the author or style of writing, and would and how or why would you recommend your books?
Wow, good one. Here's one for you. I want you to think about this because we do a lot with reading. Is reading, if the first thing you do, let's say one of your activities is you have your kids read a paragraph or read an article or read something, is reading a procedure? Is reading a concept? Just think about that a little bit, okay? Yes, it is. Because you have to do what first in reading?
It depends on the stage.
It depends on the stage of reading, and also depends on, like she said, she listed factual things. The sound a, they're all sounds that kids have to learn. That's a fact, you know. But how they put them together in words, that becomes conceptual, because there's many different ways to do that. All right. The reason I bring that is because I never had anybody do that, and it's a really good example. And on a lot of things you have kids do, I don't care what you're teaching, you have them read. You have them read something. And so you need to be thinking about, when we get to our table, where does reading fit in? Where is the act of the student reading fitting in cognitive complexity? And you're absolutely right, it depends on the kid. You know, think of the level of rigor. For one kid, this paragraph, this thing might be really, really rigorous to get through that and understand it. For somebody else, done. Just, you had a good example, so I just had to bring that up. I want you to think about that one. Okay. Last but not least.
We have to stand.
No.
Okay. All right, so we're doing golf and the factual, so you need to know the rules, you need to know the rules of etiquette, you need to know the equipment, the names of the equipment. Conceptually, you need to know course management, which is like when to use what club, how hard to swing the club, what you're gonna do. Yeah, how to display the course. Procedural, you're gonna also follow the course etiquette, playing honors, how to score your golf game, and just basic fundamental skills, how to swing a golf club, how to do that. Metacognitive is choosing course for your level of play, managing